Hi everyone, I'm doing a second video today because I wanted to go over my very first Book of Shadows, as I'm a beginner to my spirituality and everything, and I looked up a lot on Book of Shadows. I spent a lot of time looking up Book of Shadows stuff, not knowing what to put in it or why I needed to or anything like that. And I've basically used it as my spiritual journal pretty much and research. And I wanted to share it in case anybody out there was looking like, how do you do this? What do I put in it? Why would I do that? Those kind of things. And at the end, I will show like what I'm going to do with the last couple pages, because I have like 3 or 4 pages that are still not filled in it, even though this book is pretty much complete. But the last pages, I'm going to do some extra journaling in. Anyways, so this is mine. And I'm doing this one-handed because, well, I don't really have like a camera set up. I'm just doing it from my phone. So this is the Fairy Star. I'm really connected to the Fairy Star. I don't really know why yet, but I am. And then I have the date here, and I did the date in the Roman numerals too. And then this is just a sketchbook. It's actually like a really flimsy sketchbook because I didn't know what I wanted to do at first or why. So I just picked up something that was cheap and easy. I won't be doing that again in the future. And then this is a handmade piece that I got off of a fellow artist. And she handmade it, and I thought it was just so pretty. I can't wear jewelry really because I'm allergic to like all the metals and stuff. I just break out everywhere, but this is beautiful, and it goes so well with my, I guess, my aesthetics and things that I like and whatnot. And I really wanted something that just helped me. And since it's so flat, it actually works really well as a like a page marker, interestingly enough. And I just added it to the binding. I mean, it's a necklace. It's, you know, and it's worked out really well. I did learn something else about the idea of the Book of Shadows is I like these spirals because I like my Book of Shadows laying flat. And while I can make my own Book of Shadows, it's really time consuming and I don't want to. Not right now anyways. All right, so here it is. I've got my, about this book, and it talks about my experience so far kind of thing, like if anybody's going to read it. And then I did the hand lettering on this page. A lot of the stuff I did myself in here. I don't have extra photos from anybody or anything in here, but I've got a lot of research stuff in here. So this is just like my title page, and I wanted to try my hand at like calligraphy, and I really liked it. And then it's got, it was suggested that I learn how to put things into my own words, and I started out just researching Wicca, and then I moved into tarot. So I have my own words on this, and it actually shows you like when I started this pretty much. So I figured for Samhain well, this month in general is when I'm going to start my next Book of Shadows, because this pretty much has ended this month. And then I'm not super into numerology, but I did want to find my magical name. So I did a lot of work with this and came up with my magical name. So that's why my channel is called Astaria Sen. And then this is the Fairy Star. Now, I haven't done a lot of research on the Fairy Star yet. Like, I've done some research, and I plan on doing a lot more in my next book journal. That's coming up. I've got a lot of fairy stuff that I have saved and everything else, but I got the points and my preferences and stuff like that. And I prefer this to the Pentacle. And then I like lunar stuff, and I haven't gotten super deep into moon stuff yet, but I'm working on it. So this was just one of my first like looks into moon phases and what they mean. I hadn't done anything with any of them yet, and then I wrote down on the back like when the full moons were for this year. And then this is my research on the different Wicca traditions. And I left extra space originally to see if I found more stuff out, but I didn't really go back to it. So I'm just leaving this page blank, and I don't mind that because, like I said, these pages are like, they're flimsy, they're see-through, like everything bleeds through them. And then here's the Wheel of the Year, which I had a fascination with. And this is my preference in the middle, instead of like a pentacle. I didn't want to do the fairy star there because it seems separate to me. They seem like separate things, and this is a Celtic sign, and I'm German and Irish, and I have always been kind of fascinated with Celtic stuff. I guess that's probably why I like fairy too, is because it's a lot of Celtic as well. And then I started on the different Sabbaths and my personal thoughts with them and stuff like that. This was the first one I kind of celebrated. And then I had somebody suggested that I like write out how I might want to do an altar when I wanted to start an altar, and I hadn't started one yet. So this was my first altar, and I just, basically like drew it out how I had it set up for myself, just so that I can like remember how I did it, and I want to continue honoring the fairies. And of course, this is my one for our Stara, and I just talked about the different things you could do and the meanings behind it. And I did it for each one that I celebrated, pretty much. When I got into like Litha and Lammas, they were harder for me because I didn't do a lot of celebrations for it. Mabon I liked a lot, even though I didn't do as much as I wanted. And then Samhain I know is a big one. And then on the back, I have my altars for each one as well. I forgot to show you the other ones. And it's just a rough sketch of where I put everything and what it was that I put there. And then this one's for Samhain, which is coming up. And I'm going to do an ancestor altar for that one. So I haven't really like put it in. And then I haven't experienced Yule yet. So I've just been adding research basic stuff in here until I celebrate Yule for the first time. And then I will add it back in. And then I have elements. Now, I'm not doing a lot with elements. I just wanted it here for a reference more than anything, especially in my first book. So if I wanted to come back and look at anything for it, I had it available to me. So it's nothing big. It's not, huge or anything like that. I don't resonate with any one element except for maybe spirit. And then I got into Esbats, and these I love because they are referencing the moon, and this is where I started getting more into moon-related stuff. And I love this, like the French origin of Esbat is the frolicking joyfully. And then this is really like, it's something I found online and I resonated with, and it's talking about the goddess of the moon and praying to her. And I did this for my first full moon is what I did it with. And then I'm into tarot. So I started my tarot workings and major arcana, minor arcana, the timing techniques, which I'm still learning. Like I'm Capricorn, so the devil's my card and the meanings of it. And then I go into more on tarot in here. Like this is more like I was talking about, I was reading a book and I was just learning different things on how to do it. And I started with the Queen of Cups and I just continued on. And then this is Danu. She's a Celtic goddess, and she is fairy related. She's the Tuluthu Lenan. There's a lot that goes with her, and I'm still learning. And I even like where I researched it from. I have it down here. She's one of the goddesses that I want to honor more and do more with. So I'm going to work more with this. But this is just my first page, like just researching and stuff like that. This is my March tarot that I had done, my own spread and my personal thoughts. And then I got into cleansing and I wanted to know more. And I'm not really good at cleansing, but I wanted a cleaner that was better than the ones that I was getting. And so I was researching different kinds of cleaners and stuff to put in them. And then I'm a crafter, so I have crafting ideas, of course, and I'm a clay crafter, so I have all the different clay stuff, and I've been doing clay goddesses, and I have my clay fairy pieces for my altar and stuff like that, so I'm working on those still. And then I have herb stuff that I started on, but I haven't really like delved into very much. A sigil that I made for luck, which ends up being this one. Like this was just my process on like learning how to do it and which way I liked, and I ended up with this one that I really liked, and I actually put it on a few clay pieces for March. And then this is my fairy lore section, and I get these a lot of like books and stuff. So it talks about different kinds of fairy lore that I'm going to get more into in my next book as well. I only did a few of them in this one. And then the new moon is some more stuff that I did some research on back in March before I actually did any kind of like blessings or anything with it. And then I started working on meditations and the different ways to meditate, and I'm still working on that. Then I've got gift ideas for people that I wanted to do, which I've been working on as well. Future pages for different journals that I wanted to work on for more Book of Shadow journaling. Advent stuff for the different holidays that I'm working with. Journaling, you know, just how far I've come, what I believe so far, those kind of things. And this one was done back in August after I'd done a lot of research and whatnot. And it talks about my altar and everything. Working a little bit in herbalism. And then I loved this quote, magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. And I'm going to add more quotes in the future because I think they're inspiring and positive, and I like that about them. Talked about charging water. I've got old day remedies, which I want to do a whole section on in my new one. I'm going to talk to my grandma about some of them too, because she's 80 years old and I want to keep some of that stuff for myself. Moon milk. I showed you guys some of this in a previous video when we talked about the moon for the YouTube Pagan Vlog Challenge in October. And this is just my information on it. This is one of my favorite recipes, which, you know, I tried and I liked. And then this just goes through more recipes. Like, I have a lot of them that I'm trying and deciding whether or not I like, and, you know, different recipes that I want to do with it. I did the lavender moon milk one. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. So I have the stuff to do these, but I haven't done a lot. And then I started researching stuff on the witch's ball. And then full moon names, which I want to get into more in my next journal. Another journal prompt that I did in September. Then it's different quotes that I liked that I wanted to just have in here. Time is non-refundable. Use it with intention. I'm strong because I'm weak. I'm fearless because I'm afraid. I'm wise because I'm foolish. And then do something today that your future self will thank you for. And all of these mean something to myself. They don't have to mean anything to anybody else. It's just my personal stuff. And it encourages me and keeps me moving forward with all of the stuff that I have to do. I do the journal for like fun, for introspect, for spirituality, not as a thing I have to do. And because I'm a creator, I had the fall holistic fair that I was going to, that I was doing a bunch of different stuff for. And then my other vendor events that I wanted to create stuff. Amulet research that I've been doing. Another meditation technique that I was looking at. And then a moon thing, because I've been researching more into the moon. Moon woman, old and wise, hair of silver, pale gray eyes. She rises high above the night, spinning spiders like spider silk of light, shining like a beacon bright to light the way for fairies' flight. And I just really loved that, that I found online. And then I've got a Green Witch quote, another journal for when I did my full moon ritual, and it was a very amazing ritual. I loved it. It was the very first full moon ritual I ever did, and I want to do more of them, and I really liked it. Then I have predictions that I was working on, smudging aspects, and then my October moon phase thing that I was playing with, just like aesthetically. And then I'm working on moon baths. New moon baths that I want to try later in the future. And then I have my October predictions from tarot, and then research that I just started on the ancestor altar that I'm going to be putting up for Samhain. Now these are my last pages. They are four or five pages, not very many, that I will be doing just basic journaling on, and it's how I want to end the journal. I want to pull a tarot card and talk about the tarot card and make it specific about this journal. And then I want to do my own personal my own personal thoughts on the actual way that like my spirituality has changed since I started this journal, just for my own self-thought. So when I come back to look at this journal, I can see where I've come from and how my spirituality has changed and where my thought processes were. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And it's not a very big journal. You know, it really isn't. I've had to tear a couple of pages out just because it didn't work out for me, you know, those kind of things. And I have my new journal ready that I'm going to be starting. And I might share that as I start it later on, you know, maybe some pages as I'm working on. But for now, this is it. This is what I have. And I'm either going to transfer this to my new journal or keep it with this one and get a new one. Either way, I really like this aspect of my journal and I want to keep it, so I'm going to continue doing these and decorating the front and stuff like that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I don't think that Book of Shadow journal work should be anything like, somebody shouldn't tell you exactly what should be in yours. So if that's what you're looking for, don't look for that. You need to find it for yourself, and it should be stuff that you're interested in, because if you're putting stuff that other people are interested in, you're not going to learn as much and you're not going to research as much, and your spiritual journey isn't going to be as fruitful as it could be. So I highly recommend that you start your own and base it off things that you are interested right now, even if that's not something you're interested in later. Right now is what's important, because that's where your brain's going to go. That's where your spirituality is going to go. That's where your heart's going to go. And if you don't want to use this for witchy stuff, don't use it for witchy stuff. Just use it as a journal, but show yourself where you've come from, how far you've come, what you're learning, what you like, what you dislike. Use it for those aspects to really encourage your own spiritual journey. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my Book of Shadows journal, and I will be back tomorrow with another October YouTube Pagan Vlog challenge piece, so be looking forward to that.